Hello everyone, it's Richard here again. I want to talk about the shortfalls of science, of which there are a few. Some areas which scientists don't venture, and they should, in my view. So one, as I mentioned before, is the political arena, especially in this country. Those scientists in Parliament that I know of, or government circles. Eton does science, it offers science, but it is, frowned upon by those who charge, who want to do the odd boy in their work. They don't give a shit about science at all, don't need to. Why would they? They're sitting pretty. Why would they study science unless they're interested in it? And the same goes to mass media people, they don't bug all about science as well. A few used to, but now they're now independent because they can't stand the culture. All the bullshit that goes on in the management circles and so forth. It's all political, all emotional, drama stuff, and like I said, I just can't cope with that. But I think they should make more effort to get involved in politics. Because for one thing, the government provides the funding and makes decisions as to whether banning a rising or not, which really had a big impact on science in this country, massive detriment. So scientists should get involved, they really should. Not quite sure how. Could stand as an independent MP if you don't like the party system, because could stand as an independent, I suppose. Or at least write to MP or make a fuss in the TV studios. But more needs to be done. More scientists need to get involved in politics and to study the actual political science too. That is missing. Well, it's there, but it's rare. Something I do to some extent, but it's nowhere near enough really. Not mainstream. It's so important. A few people study. I just don't get the people who don't study important things. Baffles me. Just why don't they? And in many ways, the most important science of all is knowing about ourselves. The old adage, know thyself, is very, very true. Because we're the people who make the observations, we're the people who actually record the figures and the facts and devise the experiments and so forth. And yet we don't study this thing in here, and much. We don't know about the biases and the pitfalls of, well, I'll correct that. Scientists do know about the pitfalls of thinking, because that's why they have peer reviews and group team efforts. Because they know individuals can make mistakes or come biased, therefore they group together to try and limit their bias, fair enough. But they still don't get the bias overall. And here's another example. What between weird science or fringe science. Most mainstream scientists don't go there. Of course, they won't get funding, or fear they won't, or they get laughed at by their peers. Again, it's all emotional response, a group response. If you go and study, if you like Rupert Sheldrake, for example, you may not have heard him, but he's I think he's a proper scientist myself. He does the proper thing. He does experiments. He has theories. He devises experiments, and which can be done by the people. And he works in the field of what he calls morphic resonance, which I have some ideas about myself. It's basically the idea that there's some kind of energy body which precedes the physical one and actually guides its formation and its shape. How true that is debatable, of course. It's a very, very controversial topic. But Rupert Sheldrake has got some very valid, very interesting ideas which could be explored, which he has devised experiments for, which can be tested, but which by and large aren't tested. Because the mainstream scientists don't go there. In fact, Nature, the prestige scientific journal, once published a statement that was Rupert Sheldrake's book should be burned. And the Nazis used to burn books. It was an utterly unscientific statement. I was just quite shocked by that one. So I hope they've had second thoughts about that. And I'm interested in crop circles. because of my UFO experience, I've been studying these things, and they're not all fakes. I'm sure of this. In fact, I went to the Crop Circle Museum in Pewsey in Wiltshire recently. Actually, a cafe, which is a nice place worth going to. And they had very good photographs and so on, very interesting. There's one account which I already knew about, which I will tell you again. Apparently there was a pilot who flew a light aircraft on a regular basis over Stonehenge and that area. I think to give trips to photographers who want to take photographs of the scenery down below. He made regular flights back and forth. And he'd often seen crop circles himself. So he's quite often looked down at the ground to see if anything was there. And this one particular trip he flew out, I think it was near Stonehenge, and flew out to pick up somebody up, one of the photographers. No crop circles on the way out in this field near Stonehenge. I think it's north of Stonehenge. Picked up his passenger, flew back. About 35 minutes later, a crop circle was there. And this is quite a sophisticated one, close to a main road, but nobody saw anything apparently. I can get that drivers of cars and lorries may not actually look at fields much, but the passengers might, particularly their coach. You think there's some of them will notice things going on in the field if there's anything dramatic happening there, but no reports of anything at all. So this pilot flew over the field on the way out. 35 minutes later on the way back, there's a crop circle. Just how to get there in that time, it just boggles the mind. So that's something I personally want to study myself, and I probably will this year, assuming they occur again. But most scientists won't go there, as far as I can tell. They just think it's all fake, it's all dodgy, they just won't touch it. But there's real evidence of very interesting phenomena going on repeatedly around the world. Not just here in the UK, around the world. And these things are very, very interesting. Clearly some kind of intelligence at work, and it's crying out for proper scientific study. There's another example which I've been watching on YouTube called Skinwalker Ranch, which is in Utah in North America, USA. Apparently there's been sightings or records of very odd things going on there for centuries. And it's a long story, but there's a kind of scientific team now established there which is conducting experiments and making observations. And weird stuff is happening again, like UFOs and such like. Almost on demand, they can, fire a rocket in the air, for example, and get a response of some kind. It's almost that predictable. Now, it's not quite proper science because there's no peer reviews. I think they're publishing the data, but I'm not sure if you can actually do the experiments themselves because it has to be done in that area. So it's not real science in that sense, not mainstream, certainly not mainstream. But it is an interesting phenomenon. I seem to have some genuine results. You can make it that way you will. And the fact that people don't know the science of human behaviour is profoundly shocking to me. We don't know an animal tendencies of herding, especially in England, which I think is self-evident now. There's large groups of people who know bugger all about anything important or useful to themselves, and therefore very, very vulnerable to be misled and lied to and deceived, which you've seen with Brexit, amongst other incidents. And the scientists themselves don't get this important knowledge really. Don't really know themselves. Another example is a guy called Graham Hancock, who's again controversial in the field of archaeology, who's claiming there's evidence for civilizations way before what mainstream archaeologists would agree to. Again, he's not really got what might consider proper science approach, but he has got interesting evidence. And there's things like Stonehenge itself and AB, well, what do we say? 20 ton stones, rocks, boulders, somehow got there from a quarry 80 miles away or whatever it was, and nobody knows how. I spoke to some archaeologists about this once, and nobody knows how. There's no. I know it's a long time ago. You think if these things have somehow been dragged on the ground, like using rollers or ropes, which they didn't have, I don't think, in those days. Just how did they get there? And again, there's no investigation really as to how that occurred. There's all these things on the fringe of science and the kind of dodgy area of politics where these scientists don't go. And I think they should. And the fact that climate scientists are telling us dire warnings about the future prognostications for the planet, for the world as a whole, not widely reported, not screaming from the rooftops, not every day, which it should be. There's another second down to our sick society. Yeah, I think science has got a much more bigger part to play, and we should all know some science from school, at least everyone should. It could be just archaeology, that's fine, as long as you get the method, the actual ideas. But it's still missing, as far as I know. It's better, but it's still not good. And certainly those in high office know nothing about it at all. Don't care until they have to. So the arms are twisted, they have to actually do something, then they care, but otherwise no, they're just not interested. Don't get the point. So yeah, I think there are some shortfalls to science, or scientists to be all precise. They're thinking and their beliefs, their group culture. It is limiting. Many groups are, because they don't know what group minds are like. They all have to make sacrifices to their integrity to some extent to actually belong to a group. That's my view. So yeah, I say I hope to rectify that myself with the crop circle thing this year. Quite what I can do yet is debatable. I hope to do something. And yeah, with that I'll leave you with the idea that we should really have more science in political arenas. We really should do. And the media people, the power areas, the centres, much more awareness than there is now. It's scary. It's scary, this ignorance. It's scary. So please like or comment or subscribe and share the message, please. Thank you. Bye.